My name is Lauren. I'm 39 years old, and for most of my life, I was treated as the outcast of my family. I wasn't the favorite child. I wasn't the one who made my parents proud. I wasn't the one they bragged about at dinner parties. That was always my younger sister, Emily. Emily was the star. Straight A student, cheerleader, perfect hair, perfect smile. My parents adored her. Whenever relatives visited, they'd say, "Look at Emily, she's going to do great things." And then their eyes would shift to me, and suddenly the room would go quiet. I didn't fit their mold. I was creative, rebellious, and a little lost. I loved painting, writing, exploring new things. But to my parents, those weren't real talents. I'll never forget one Thanksgiving when my uncle asked how I was doing. Before I could answer, my dad said, "Lauren, she's just drifting. We don't know what she'll end up doing." Everyone laughed. I wanted to disappear. The truth? I carried that shame for years. I worked odd jobs, lived in tiny apartments, and made mistakes along the way. And every time I stumbled, my parents reminded me that Emily never struggled like this. But I kept going. Instead of trying to be like my sister, I leaned into who I was. I poured myself into art, into freelance work, into building small side hustles. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't flashy. But slowly, things started to click. I taught myself graphic design, built websites, and started taking on clients. What began as tiny projects turned into a growing business. By the time I hit my early 30s, I had a steady income, a list of loyal clients, and the freedom to work for myself. Meanwhile, Emily's perfect life wasn't so perfect anymore. She went through a messy divorce. Her high-paying job downsized. Suddenly, the golden child wasn't shining so brightly. That's when my phone started ringing. At first, it was little things. "Lauren, can you design a flyer for me?" Or, "Lauren, could you help me fix my resume?" Then it became bigger. Emily asked to borrow money. My parents hinted that maybe I could help support the family a little. I couldn't believe it. The same people who once called me a failure now depended on me. I'll never forget the day my mom sat across from me, her voice trembling. She said, "Lauren, I don't know what we'd do without you. You've become the strong one in the family." Those words healed something inside me. Not because I needed their approval anymore, but because I had already proven myself, to me. I had survived being the outcast. I had built a life of independence and strength when no one believed in me. Today, I own a thriving creative agency. I employ people, I travel, and I live in a home I designed myself. And whenever my family gathers now, they look to me as the one who holds things together. I used to think being the outcast meant being less. But now I realize it meant being different. And sometimes, different is exactly what the world needs. Because in the end, the girl they laughed at became the woman they rely on.